right, good morning. This is our warm-up for today. We're going to be graphing cubic and cube root equations with A, B, C, and D transformations. So what I wanted to do is give you a list of different equations that we're looking at and what happens with those equations and what do they look like with their transformations. So without using our calculator, we're looking at the equation. We're determining what is going on with each one of these graphs. So the first graph, A of x is equal to x cubed minus 3. This is a D value. That negative 3 means that this graph is going to shift down 3 units. So I'm just going to do arrows for shorthand. We're moving down 3 units. Okay? And the shape is going to be our parent shape. All right, we go to B of x. Inside your parentheses, x plus 1 cubed. So this is a C value. So you take x plus 1, equal it to 0, which gives me x is equal to negative 1. That means I'm moving to the left 1 unit. Still going to have the parent shape. Here we have 2 transformations going on. We have an A value of 3 and a C value of negative 2 inside the equation, so we take the opposite of it. First we'll start with A. This is a vertical stretch of 3, and we're going to move to the right 2 units. X minus 2 equals 0. Add 2 to both sides, x equals 2, going to the right 2. We have another question that has transformations. We have a 1/4 for the A value, 1 for the D value. 1/4, this would be a vertical compression of 1/4. And then the 1 on the outside means I'm going up 1 unit. Now we talk about our B values. Whatever you see in the equation, okay, is what you're going to take and find the reciprocal of. So I see a 2 here. I'm going to take the reciprocal of that number because it's a B value. It's going to give me 1/2. So that would be a horizontal compression of 1/2. So if I see a fraction in here, a proper fraction for the B value, 1/4 x raised to the 3rd power, I'm going to flip that fraction, which is going to give me the number 4. That would be a horizontal stretch of 4. Nothing on the outside, so that's the only transformation that's going on. Negative on the outside. This is an A value transformation. If the A value is negative, notice that I don't have parentheses here, then this is going to be a reflection over the x-axis. So then if the negative is on the inside of the parenthesis, you're going to reflect over the y-axis. That is all the A and B values tell you if it's negative. Or if it's negative A value, it's just reflecting. If it's negative B value, you're going to reflect over the y-axis. Then you have to look at the numbers themselves after that to tell me if it's going to be a compression or a stretch. We're looking at the absolute value of those numbers there. The negative just tells me if it reflects or not. So the same thing happens. These are cubic functions, and the parent function for a cubic function is going to start down here. It's going to wiggle through and come back up. This would be x to the 3rd power. All of these graphs are transformations or shifts or compressions and stretches of that graph right there, x cubed. Now I move over to the cubed root. So we're going to look at these graphs and say, okay, what's happening with the A, B, C, and D values? Cube root of x and then plus 3 on the outside. That plus 3 means I'm moving up 3 units. X minus 1 inside the radical would be the same thing as what's inside of a parenthesis. So x minus 1 equals 0. 1 goes to the other side as a positive. So I'm moving right 1 unit, the opposite of what you see here. Same thing here. I've got a 2 as my A value. That is a vertical stretch of 2, and I'm moving to the left 3 units. 1/3 as an A value means it's a vertical compression. Vertical compress of 1/3. The 1 as a D value means I'm going up 1 unit from the parent function. Looking at our B values, 1/5 is our B value. So you take the 1/5 and you flip it. That gives me 5. 5 means it is a horizontal stretch. of 5. There's no other transformations, you're stuck there. The B value is 8, so I'm going to take the 8 and flip it. That's going to give me a horizontal compression of 8, of 1/8. And then we have these parts. This is A value again. A value is negative, reflects over the x-axis. B value is negative, reflects over the y-axis. So here we have reflects over the x-axis, and this one reflects over the y-axis. What is expected out of Algebra 2 is that you're able to take either one or all 6 transformations and be able to do them all in one graph. This is just the start of what we're looking at, which is what we've done with all the other graphs that we've done in Algebra 2 with absolute value, with quadratic and square root functions. Now we're at cubic and cube root functions. This is the parent function for a cubic, the parent function for a cube root graph. We'll start on the side, wiggle through like that. And that's going to be the cube root of x as the parent function. These are your basic transformations. And what we're going to do with day 2 and 3 of our warm-up is we're going to come up with 2 separate equations that do 6 transformations in all, so that we know what it is that we're looking at. That takes care of your warm-up for today.